Hey guys and gals, how you doing? Kevin here. So I want to go ahead and give you an update. My apologies. I wanted to get this out like a day ago, but it's been pretty hectic around here. So let me go ahead and walk you guys through a couple things. I want to get into what's been going on in the markets. The markets have been absolutely insane the last 4, 5, 6 days, and so I want to get into that and what is going on in those markets and what that means for this system, for this platform, and the pivot we have to do when it comes to trading, or not pivot, but the enhance that we're going to get out to you guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about that real quick. Now, if you haven't been paying attention to this stuff, or you don't know what's been going on, Solana, ADA, and Matic over the last 24 hours, 48 hours, have slipped literally 20, 30, 40%. Bitcoin didn't take a hit. It took a 5.4%. Ethereum took 8. But BNB, Dogecoin, Tron, Solana, Litecoin, Polygon, Matic, all these different tokens have taken a massive hit. And the reason why they've taken that hit is because the SEC went ahead and started made an allegation and is putting through a lawsuit saying, hey, these tokens are indeed a security. Okay? So they're going after those tokens. And what that did was obviously caused a little bit of a dip, but things rebounded fairly quickly. But then the next phase of this happened, and that is institutions taking action and delisting them. Delisting some of the biggest tokens. You'll notice that these tokens, Solana, ADA, and Matic, they are massive. These are massive tokens, and they actually have their own chains, and they have USDC on them, and they are really good with smart contracts. So they're going after these tokens, and Robinhood says, hey, on June 27th, we will cease trading of ADA, Matic, and Solana, and any customers who have those 3 crypto assets in their Robinhood accounts at the time of removal will have them automatically sold on the market. So it's a forced liquidation of these tokens. These are the amounts that they have on those platforms, okay? $170 million of Solana, $250 million of ADA, and $163 million of Matic. This was when it first kicked off. The question is, how much do they have now? Probably a lot less than that because it's sold off. So the question is, what are we going to do, right? First off, we're minting on Matic. We're using that because of its smart contract capabilities, and here you have the SEC putting together a lawsuit and saying, "Oh, we're gonna charge you as a security," and you have institutions or an institution saying, "Hey, we're gonna go ahead and sell it." Robinhood, right? So, what would your knee-jerk reaction be to that? Well, we can't operate knee-jerk reactions, so I'm going to tell you the timeline and what we looked at and what we did. First thing, when we first saw this and they got labeled as securities, we said, okay, we might have to pivot off of Matic. Let's go ahead and get the wheels turning and see if we can't do that and get that ready to go, just in case we have to. But looking at it, obviously the only token that can be deemed safe would be Ethereum. Ethereum would be the only token that would be safe. So then you start looking at the actual cases and what's going to happen and how this will play out. And you start saying, okay, how is this all going to play out? And here's what I think is going to happen. Here's what I'm pretty sure is going to play out, okay? June 27th is the date that they're going to go ahead and sell them. However, right, that Robinhood is going to go ahead and liquidate them. However, a lot of members would have already taken pretty swift action and done that anyway and started selling off their tokens. Hence, we saw a big drop, right? Also, there's one other thing that is happening that can influence this. So the SEC comes out and they call these all securities. But we already have a case that is pending with the SEC right now, calling XRP a security as well. Okay, and XRP has been going through a lawsuit. Now, on the 13th of June, a lot of those court documents from that lawsuit will be released, and a lot of them have been leaking out. And if you look at how that case is going to most likely go down, looking at some of the leaked documents and some of the banter back and forth between lawyers and so on and so forth, is it'll probably go this way. They'll come out and they'll say, look, XRP, at the time that it was minted, was indeed a security. They minted the token and they first did the ICO. Yes, it was a security. However, since then, It's only been speculative trading of that asset on secondary markets, meaning that if I go ahead and purchase this, right, because I need to use this mouse, and we all purchase mice for our computers, we can then, as the owner of that mouse, we can either use it for the intended purpose of running our computer, or we can trade it amongst each other. And that negates it from being a security. And we already have precedence of this. There's already been a court case that has played out exactly like that. So it results in some fines and then it goes away. If XRP ends in this fashion, which it looks like there's about a 97% chance that it will, then everything we're experiencing right now, all of these dips and all this craziness, is going to immediately self-correct, right? You're going to look at around the 13th and probably leading to the end of the month, this all self-correct, meaning the SEC is now sitting there going, oh, we don't really have the case that we wanted against all of these tokens. And then their cases are just going to fall apart. Now they're in trouble. Now they can't proceed. And you'd wonder, why would an institution be doing something like this, knowing that if they have a bad day on XRP, it's going to undermine their case for all of these. And all ADA and Matic and Solana have to do is point to the XRP case and say, look, there is court precedence right there. What are we doing here? Right? And maybe they catch a fine and then they go about their day. That is probably how this plays out. All right. But regardless of how it plays out, we had to then take a look at Matic, and we had to take a look and say, look, is Matic the best option for us to mint? Because we've already done the smart contracts and we're ready to start going ahead and mint it. So are we clear to mint in Matic? Does it matter to us? Well, if I look at the assets and you really take a step back and not get too emotional about it, about the craziness of the SEC going after all of these tokens in the manner with which they are. I'm sure some of you have opinions on that. If you look at that, you might back up and you go, is the tech valid? Is it what we need? Is it the best tech out there to serve our needs? And the answer is yeah, right? Might not be the best, right? I'm sure some of you might be like, no, Kevin, take a look at this token. It's even better. I get that. But from a risk standpoint, if Matic goes down to a penny, does that negate the underlying tech that we are using? Does that negate that? Does that mean that we shouldn't be using it? No, we're not using it for the actual currency, right? We'll use the currency as gas fees, but we're using it because those gas fees are so low and because the settlement time is so fast and because their back end for smart contracts is insanely robust. So we're sticking with Matic. We're going to stay with it. We're going to run with it. Now, in the meantime, all right, just to get back to some of the FUD that's happening, you also have Binance to halt the use of dollars on their platform. Okay, you have banks trying to cut off Binance. You have all these things happening with Binance US as well. The SEC filed motions for restraining orders to freeze Binance assets, but Binance is fighting back, and that's Binance US. The worst they can do is they're going to end up driving this stuff offshore. Okay, Coinbase is also is in a lawsuit with them as well. It might be important to touch on, but that lawsuit, Coinbase is saying, look, you're wrong. Here's all the times we've tried to comply. You're not letting us comply. You're not allowing us to. They're trying to enforce policy by litigation. That's not going to last very long. That's not how Americans do stuff. Right? Eventually, Congress is going to have to get out their butts and put some regulations in place. Because crypto falls under, what does it fall under? Does it fall under the SEC? We don't even know. CFTC says it falls under them. SEC says it falls under them. No one knows. As soon as the day comes when it falls under the CFTC, crypto pumps, everything goes up. Having said all of that, okay, so key takeaway is we are still running with Matic. We're still minting with Matic, okay? We're almost done with the smart contracts for Matic, and they run in tandem. And we need that because we need those fees to be very low because there's a lot happening in those smart contracts. People purchase tokens, goes from one supply to another supply. it goes ahead and pushes those tokens out, and gives them to the user who bought them, charges a fee, obviously, and some of those tokens that are purchased, some of that USDC goes straight into Platinum holders' hands via smart contracts. That's how we're doing stuff, right? So we need those low fees. We need those fast transaction. We need those low fees. So that's how we're running this until the supply is exhausted, and then from there it's just open on the market, and boom, people can trade it. But they're using it to power their trades. So let's talk about trades, okay? Over the last couple of weeks, and watching these markets do what they do, watching them go up and watching them go down, watching all these tokens go and fly down, you would be correct in saying that no matter how much technical analysis you put behind anything, okay, any token, when this happens and there's lawsuits, and then Robinhood itself is delisting and force selling by June 27th, and Coinbase is being sued, technical analysis doesn't really help you too much. And so what's been happening behind the scenes is we've been running what we call the ATM button. And what the ATM button is literally just opening and closing trades via cross leverage. So you open up a Bitcoin long and a Bitcoin short cross leverage, and you enter in and repurchase in at very high frequencies and a little bit to move that price of your entry position in tandem with the price of the token. So any movement up, you can win. Any movement down, you can win. That's the idea. And you have two trades going, a long and a short trade going at the same time. So if you're losing your long trade, if I'm in a long trade for Bitcoin, I start losing that trade, I also have a short running in the exact same moment on cross leverage. And if I'm doing that, then I'm winning the short while I'm losing the long. I'm picking up cash and growing my balance while I'm losing one. And then money management kicks in. Obviously, money management's going the entire time. And boom, when it turns to go up a little bit, I can get out of that trade with profit, and it starts all over again. So all it does is open up a long and open up a short. Okay? And when the long closes out, opens up another long. Short closes out, opens up another short. Okay? But the money management is robust. When I say that, I mean it looks something like this. Okay? First off, we are getting in not with value, not with just percentage of your account size, but we can also do a dollar value. That limits compounding. However, it does keep you safe in later stages and has more money in your account for later stages, which is what you want, right? It's a higher leverage. This one is set up for medium risk. It's a higher leverage, 50x leverage. And if I scroll down here, you can see there's 31 stages to this. 31 stages to this. You're repurchasing in very, very quickly. You're changing your leverage, you're repurchasing in, you're changing your leverage, you're repurchasing in. Many repurchasing in. If this all sounds crazy to you and you're like, I don't understand, don't worry. What I'm going to do is you guys will have access to this sometime this week. Okay, everybody will. And what you'll be able to do is come in here. You'll be able to go through the training on it. You'll be able to click this little gear icon. Okay, let me make sure this is off because I was playing around with it. You'll be able to type in BTC. You'll be able to select it, and you'll be able to hit start. And when you do start this, okay, it will then go ahead and immediately open up, and it looks just like this right here, right? So I've got a long Bitcoin trade going, and I have a short Bitcoin trade going. So as I'm winning the first one, I'm losing the first one. When I win this, it'll open up another long, and then it'll go ahead and apply money management for the short, and so on and so forth. So the idea is to always catch these dips and these rises. Now, where it can get dangerous for you, all right, is if you get overzealous with the money management settings, right? If you're starting out with, let's say, 100x leverage and 5% of your account and that kind of stuff. This is starting out with $12 on a $1,000 account, right? Little more than 1%. And it's running $12 each and every time. And then it's purchasing in a little bit. and we're starting at 50x leverage. If I ran this at 100x leverage with a minimum take profit of 50, like you can do some cool things, but you also are exceeding your risk. So I'll be giving you guys different money management settings. I'll be naming the accounts for the risk level that I think that they are at, right? Low risk, medium risk, high risk, that kind of stuff. I'm going to give you a minimum of 3 accounts where you can actually watch them. So if you're like, hey, I don't really want to do this yet, I don't have time, but I would like to see how your accounts are going on this. Very cool. I'm actually giving you a link that you can go take a look at and look at the actual trades that are firing off and see the stages hit, see any issues, see the gains, all that stuff. All right? You'll be able to see it. You'll be able to literally look at this account. I'm going to give you a link that you guys can just look at it so you can watch it. And so what that does is it gives me the ability to say, hey, I'm going to test something out. And while I test it, you guys can go ahead and see it. And so you can either do it if you want to or not do it if you don't want to. But you can look at somebody else's accounts going before you pull the trigger yourself. Not running a paper account, literally looking in and spying into my accounts and being able to reproduce those, right? That's what we're going to do, okay? So this week you'll have that. You guys will have access to that sometime this week. There's a little bit of tech stuff to do there yet, right? But I'll get that out to you, and we'll be doing some training on this. Really kind of extensive, short and bite-sized, but also extensive from the standpoint of what is happening here. Why are we at cross leverage? Why do we take 2 trades at a time? Why am I limiting it to just 2 currency pairs? Why not do 3 or 4 or 5, right? And so on and so forth. How to turn this on. And really this is running off of money management 100%. We're not looking at an indicator or a chart to get in, and we're not running it off of an altcoin. You want to run these off of Ethereum and Bitcoin. That's it. Why? Because they're the slowest movers. You're not going to wake up and Bitcoin dropped 60%, right? Now, theoretically, if you're using conservative enough settings and you woke up and Bitcoin dropped 10% today, if your settings are conservative enough with your initial balance going in, then what should happen is you should earn on the way down and be stuck in that long, right? And then you can just go, hey, I made the money back. Let me close that trade out anyway, or close out a portion of that trade, or so on and so forth. So you have the option to do that and interact with it if you so choose. So pretty cool. So that's what's going on. All right. That's what the response to these markets and how volatile they are. This is our response. We're just going to change the game. We're just going to innovate our way out of it. And again, here's the thing. This isn't me. Okay. I did not wake up one day and say, hey, let's go ahead and make a system where it just opens up and closes the trades. Just opens them up, opens up another, opens up another, opens up. I didn't come up with that, right? I get a phone call from Craig saying, hey, let's hop on. I want to show you something crazy. And I did. And that was a few months ago. And we've been tweaking and playing with it. And everyone in the lab's been testing stuff and doing all these things. So this isn't me, guys. This is the lab with this concept and really exposing the ability of money management and what it can do, right? I think the first person to have a stage that was past 30 was Renee. She's like, look at my 37-step, system. And then of course other people are going to take that, refine it, make it better, and so on and so forth. And that's the game plan. It's just refine it, make it better, refine it, make it better, and pull the risk away, right? Lower the amount you're getting in. One of the things that we're trying to get this week, mind you, is a way here, now the third tab here, for you to go ahead and move funds out on a per trade basis. So you win a trade, let's say you make $5, right? Then you just go ahead and take 50% of it off the table. Automatically moves it to your spot wallet. Pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. So that's going as well. Now, how long am I into this video for? Let me make sure I'm not going too... Okay. Hopefully you guys got this far. So what we're doing on all other fronts is we're almost done with our smart contracts. We're almost ready to go. And we're almost ready to go ahead and mint the token. There is one other thing we're waiting for, and it's been a slog. It's been not just a slog waiting for. It's been insanely frustrating. on your end, as you can imagine, and very time consuming on our end. But we are almost done. We're almost there. So I think this will be the week. And in fact, I've closed down the Platinum program. People cannot join the Platinum program. So once we're done, guys, I will be hitting you all up and saying, hey, let's hop on a call and let's go ahead and go through everything. Okay. You're going to see the Platinum program change. You're going to see over the course of this week, there's going to be some withdrawal buttons back there that are going to be added. There's going to be some new swap features back there added. So you're going to see that happening as we march through the rest of this week. I actually should have been gone already multiple times. I should have been out of here, but we're waiting on one security check and then we're good to go. So that's kind of where we are. So we'll talk more about that as the week progresses, but this is kind of the 10,000 foot view of what's going on. And yeah, it is, for me, I mean, you can't get any easier, right? You can't get any easier than just coming in here, clicking a button and going start, and then letting it go ahead and start opening up trades, right? I'm going to have the settings for you. I'll have the training for you this week. You guys will be able to view my accounts that are running. I'm going to set up multiple accounts. You can view them, some on high risk, and a couple of them on high risk, just to really show you what will happen if you do it. So if you run one on a high risk setting, it might just liquidate, guys. Like it might do great the first day, 2 days, week, boom, liquidates. So let me go ahead and set up a high risk one. I'll give you the link and you can see what it does. And it's probably going to liquidate out. But we'll have the high risk, the medium risk, the low risk, probably 3, maybe more than that. Okay. And we'll go from there. And I think you guys are going to be fairly excited about this, fairly happy with what you see and how this goes. I mean, we opened up this trade and when they initially start, I mean, you can see the liquidation prices on these. The goal is to balance that out. It's like a seesaw, right? If my liquidation price on my longs creeps up because I have more funds in there, or my short liquidation price creeps up because I have more funds in there, the question is, are you making those profits on those big swings to where you can go, you know what, I'm just going to cut this off and I don't care because in the last 24 hours, I made 3,000. I'm going to take a $2,000 loss. I don't care. Just so this machine can keep moving. Like there will be times where you have those decisions to make, right? And there'll also be some settings where it's just baked into the cake to close out a portion of a position. So I'll be giving you guys those settings. You can watch them. Again, watch the accounts and then jump in, right? Watch the accounts and then jump in. So yeah, there we go. So I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. I will see you guys as soon as possible. This upcoming week, again, it's Sunday here for me. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. A lot going on for us. But I'm going to get the stuff out to you. I'll get the training out there for you. And I'm going to keep you guys updated as the week progresses. And we'll try to do a webinar sometime this week. Might be an emergency quick one. And that's the one I'm looking forward to, actually. So anyway, love you guys. Talk to you soon. And yeah, let's crush it out. Again, this stuff is just temporary. This is temporary. These strategies and what's going on here, this is permanent. Okay? So I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one or on the next webinar. Appreciate you. Talk soon.